Probably before you were born, right?
What?
I don't even remember that far back. It was like I was in season 1, so how many years ago? Was that like 11 years ago? Okay, rub it in. I remember that I was doing 2 shows at once, and the boys joke about this shit all the time, but it's true. I never knew my lines because I was doing Grey's Anatomy and Supernatural, so I was flying back and forth, and I used to have Post-it notes all over chests and foreheads. So I would talk to Jensen, and I'd talk to Jared.
After you put Post-it notes on a guy, you got to hug him.
Post-it notes.
It's kind of a ritual.
You know what this means? I think I'm about ready to get yanked off this sucker.
I know. I don't like it either.
The boys are probably coming up.
You know, it's our favorite part of doing these conventions is that when you're here, Misha's on stage, the boys, whatever, and we have to come on and play you guys off. The cacophony of boos that we're met with as we take the stage, we're like, damn it, there's no real way to win.
You come up to play me off?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We would have come up to play you.
Rude.
We were going to come up and play you on.
That's better.
But then Sam and you had a thing, and it was like, we didn't want to interrupt.
Oh.
See?
I see the predicament.
Yeah.
So if you play me off, what kind of thing are we talking about?
It's pretty upbeat. I think you're going to like the ditty.
I mean, I'd like something a little sad, actually.
All right, guys, but you do the sad version.
The sad version?
Sad version of that upbeat song.
Set the sad version of the upbeat song. But before they kick into that, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Mr. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Thank you, guys. You guys are all awesome. Yay, San Francisco. Suck it, man.
Goes. You know, you're just gonna wander around the stage. It's kind of a bit. We've been booed by crowds all across the United States.
I know, it's amazing.
But I've never had the actor actually give me the finger. I've never. That was the first time. Great way to tap off the year.
When I first came out, no one else came out, so I came out by myself like a real jerk, and you just hear a rumble of boo. It was like a low. They didn't want to interrupt him, but they're like,
you guys should just bring signs, boo. Robbie, here's the thing. I know that we just took Jeffrey Dean Morgan off. I understand that, and that's a drag because he's not here often. We're psyched to have him in San Francisco helping us close out the year in epic style.
Absolutely.
That's so great. But because he came off stage, that means one thing and one thing only, that there's more to come. Robbie, I turn it over to you, my friend.
All right, here we go. We're gonna let Jensen and Jared know what San Francisco sounds like. Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. She loves to laugh, she loves to sing. She loves anything. She loves to move. She loves to groove. She loves to love and things. All night, oh, every night. Are you ready? So hold tight, oh, baby, hold tight. Yes, it's any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it, oh, she said. That's the way you need it, any way you want it.
go.
Hot crowd.
Yeah.
Hot crowd.
It's a live one. Let me make this official. For the last panel of 2017, Burlingame, Millbrae, and the surrounding counties. Say hello to Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
I'm not sure where we are now.
Does it really matter?
Thanks, Rick. Hi, guys. Any first
Such a
timers?
gorgeous crowd.
Is anybody a first time? Welcome. So far, so good.
About that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, huh?
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
He's a charmer. You can see where we get it from.
Not a bad dad to have. Yeah, so as Richard touched on, this is our last of 2017, so welcome newbies and good to see you again, longtime family members. I'm gonna try that again. Longtime family members. It's been a pretty big year, you know.
It has been a big year.
It has been a big year. Lucky 13. Some new. Yeah. I think a year ago today, we were here having just welcomed his little 2 newborns. And now they're 1 times 2. Now they're 2. Yeah, is that how that works out? Really cool to be back. I love the area, so, all right.
Just real quick before we get started, I do want to say, since this is our last con of 2017, a special thank you to Creation for doing what they do, and not just Adam and Gary and Steph, which yes, thank you, but to the volunteers, to the people in the merch room, to the folks that set all this stuff up. To the lighting, to all the electric people behind us and are taking care of the technical aspects of stuff that you guys don't necessarily see, but is vital to what we do. The band can attest to that. There's a lot of prep that goes into making these shows possible, and we're thankful for them. We're thankful for what they do on a weekly basis. So just a round of applause for those people. No, that's enough. That's all I'm gonna. That's as sappy as I'm gonna get today.
That's as gooey as he gets.
Yeah,
all right,
that's it. Let's get some questions.
Let's do
Hi.
it.
Hi, I love you guys. So my question is for Jensen.
What?
She said you guys. She included you in the love.
So since the news is, I love you both.
You said that already.
Yeah. Okay. So since the news is out that Daniil is going to be on the show. We're all really excited.
Sorry, who?
So I was just wondering, like, what the process of getting her on the show was, and if she had to like audition, and like how she decided to do it.
A lot of jokes going through my head right now.
There's a lot going to me.
There's a lot.
Luckily, I wasn't involved in the question, so I can't say my jokes.
I'm feeding off of all the jokes that are running through your head. I'll give it to you straight. This kind of was something that had been going on for many years. Bob Singer, our executive producer, always threw the idea out there. Hey, when's Daniil coming on the show? And Daniil always took the stance of, no, that's your baby, that's your thing, that's you do it. I'll support you and love you and you do your thing, which was great. And that's I love her for that. And then it was when we got picked up for season 13, she was like, it might be cool to be on the show. She said it in like passing. Like, I don't even think she really knew what she was getting herself into. And so when she said that, my ears perked up, and I immediately told Bob, I'm like, hey, listen, if you're still interested in having Daniil on the show, I think she actually might be up for it. And he's like, seriously? So he told his wife, Eugenie, who's one of our writers, a fantastic writer, and Eugenie jumped at the opportunity to create a character for her. So we knew that it was going to happen at some point this year, and it just so happens to be episode 1313.
Twins.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I just want to say I love you guys a lot. And my question is the same as the last one. It's just, what are both of your guys' reaction to Daniel coming on the show?
I mean, I think it's great. If anything, and by the way, I have to say that. But if anything, it gives me an opportunity to have my whole family up in Vancouver while I'm filming. So I get to be with everybody for a couple of weeks. So that's great. And I mean, I've worked with her before, so I know that she's. And I've always told her that she's incredible. I think she's incredibly talented, and so I'm excited to see what she does.
I can't wait. I've known Daniil. Haven't I known her longer than you've known her? Technically? Oh, shut up.
No.
You already met. I met her many years ago.
Yeah,
through a
we
mutual friend.
we
Before
knew each other.
I've known her longer than I've known Jensen.
Yes, that is true.
So I know her as a friend. I know her as a mother. I know her as the wife to one of my best friends. I know her as Aunt Eel, as my sons call her, because they can't say Aunt Daniil as well as we adults can. I can't wait to work with her. I think it's really exciting. I think it's also, as a fan of the show, I'm excited for what it means. I'm excited for that little extra bit of, oh, this is going to be cool. Like, I know it's neat to have this backstory and this family where it's actually something that's we look forward to. Like, how neat will it be to see them interact on camera, and we've known them and we've loved them and supported them being Ackles and Daniil. I say Ackles, that's funny. I'll see Daniil every now and again and be like, hey, when is Ackles gonna go? And she's like, I'm an Ackles too. I'm like, oh yeah, right. When's Jensen? It just feels weird to say it. I can't wait. I'm really excited. I hope, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know that at some point in time, I'm gonna have to explain to my children why Uncle Jensen and Daddy killed Mommy. So I'm hoping that we also have to explain to his children why Uncle Jared and Aunt Mama killed Mom. So it'll be fun.
I think it was one of the first things you said was, all right, dude, but promise me this. You've got to hold her while I stab her in the gut.
Thank you.
All right, challenge accepted.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi.
Hello, boys. I was just wondering about the type of music that you like to listen to. Did you actually like classic rock before you started on the program?
Totally. We both did. There's not a whole lot of music I won't listen to. But yeah, we like classic rock. I know my dad did. I know your dad did. My mom did. My mom went to Led Zeppelin concerts. Jen was at the Grateful Dead last night, which I know is a local favorite also because they grew up in the Bay Area. Holla, holla! I don't know what that was, but so yeah, I love rock, classic and modern, but I'll listen to pretty much anything.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I've always liked classic rock. That's the stuff my mom listened to too.
Yeah.
When I was young.
Yeah, I think it was pretty. That was one of my favorite things about the pilot script that Eric wrote was that when the music cue kicked in for the very first time on the show, he described it. He said, like, music cue kicks in, and not this anorexic emo crap, anemic pop emo crap. He's like, I want some AC/DC. And yeah, and
helps
so
with the tone of the show.
right then I was like, I'm a fan. So yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
you.
Hi there.
Howdy. I don't usually follow instructions people give me. I don't do what people tell me to do, but when Mark Shepard tells you to do something, you gotta do it.
Do the opposite.
Right? Right?
You do the opposite.
So this is for Jensen, and I don't know if anybody asked you in the gold panel, but for those of us who are poor and didn't go, he said to ask Jensen about the time he almost lost his eye in the fight scene in Kane's kitchen. And we all like to hear about blood and gore and stunts.
The time that I almost lost my eye?
That's what he said. He said you were fighting on the table there and you almost lost your eye.
Oh.
He said,
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah, no. I think he makes. I almost took someone's eye out.
oh, well, then he was mistaken.
He was slightly mistaken, but not far from mistaken, because the person whose eye I almost took out is my stunt double, Todd. So what had happened was, and if you look at if you watch the scene, Todd is he's the actual demon that I'm fighting with up until the very end, and I kill him at the very end. So the fact that I was actually fighting the guy who normally doubles me meant that I didn't have a double that day. So I had to do everything. So because I was fighting my double. And then at the very end, there's that moment where he's slammed onto to Kane's table there, and then I take the knife and drive it right through his neck. Luckily, the knife, yeah.
It was awesome.
Luckily, the knife that I had was they call it a rubber knife, but it's like very hard plastic. And there was a lot of like fight choreography that we were going through during the fight just before the stab. The tip of the blade had gotten bent like that. So it was like this. And I didn't realize that. So when I went to stab, I was just going to go just to the left of his face. But the tip had bent this way. And so instead, it caught him right under the eye and literally just opened him up.
Ooh.
Because even though it's not a steel knife, it's a very hard pointed rubber tip. And so it sliced him right open. And I, of course, was like mortified. And he just pops up. He's like, "What?" I'm like, yeah, you've got a massive cut on your eye. And he's like, "Oh, all right. Are we going again?" And he's just like holding his face together. He's like, "We're going again? Can we go again?" "Yeah." "Todd, you're bleeding." That's not that bad."
Let it be said that you were on fire that episode because you also stabbed this guy.
Yep.
You probably cut 2 people in the history of Supernatural, and it was both that episode. Remember you stabbed me right in the knee?
That's what happens when you give a guy 9 hours to shoot a fight scene. You're like, "Listen, we're not going to do anything but fights and stunts today, and it's going to be all you. You have no stunt double. Go."
Yeah, when
Don't hurt anybody.
after Dean and Kane fight, and he comes down with that giant, that's not a knife, this is a knife kind of knife.
Hey,
he's
to be
coming
fair,
down and-
that was not my fault.
I wasn't holding the knife.
No, but you decided to knee it.
I didn't knee it.
Look, it was like this. This would be the knife.
Yep. Okay. So
And then this would be Jared.
as you're collapsing, no. So he's supposed to collapse, but he was actually collapsing. I didn't.
I didn't go like this.
I didn't see the playback. The point is, Jensen's a large man, and you can't. I'm saying that
Rotund.
you can't,
Husky.
if he's gonna actually fall down, I wasn't gonna pick him up like this because that's really bad. So I had to kind of I had to set my feet And in setting
And
my feet,
I felt it. Like I felt the
and we're
knife
rolling.
go
it's not
into
during
his
rehearsal.
leg.
So I kind of do this, and I feel like a ka-ching. I'm like, Use
And
it.
it's just in there. Like it's in there a good like half inch.
Yeah.
And
it's a real knife. This one.
oh yeah,
was not a rubber,
this was a real steel blade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm sitting there, and I'm still.
And they haven't called cut yet, so he and I can tell he knows I know he knows I know, he knows I know, he knows I know.
I'm like,
everybody knows everything.
Is he gonna stop the scene? Because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and so
the
then
knife
it's like,
is in his leg.
And then it's
And he didn't. He was just like, I think I've been stabbed. But I'm not sure you knew exactly.
Yes, what?
Yeah. All right. Well, because you didn't stop, and I was like,
dude, there's a dart in your neck.
I would.
That's.
Too many darts.
I didn't stop because I was like, okay, it's the end of the scene anyways, and they call cut, and I'm basically holding him up. I can feel that the blade is in my leg, like right above my knee. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then they go cut, and immediately Ackles just goes, dude, you all right? I felt that. And I look down, and there's already blood spreading on my pants.
Already pluming on his jeans, yeah.
It had gone through my pants, through my skin. Luckily, my knee had stopped it.
Who needs a knee?
I think you call that your bone.
Patellas, better for things than just bending. They can also stop knives. But yeah, you were 2 for 2 that episode. And I will say...
That was not my fault.
That's your fault. I blame you. I'll say this. It's times like this that make me realize how awkward it must be for like the doctor convention on the other side of the hotel to walk past these doors. We're all talking about stabbing each other in the neck and the face. So I got him in the face, and then I stabbed Jared in the leg. People are like, what are they talking about in there? They're crazy. Someone's going, woo, when you're like, yeah, I stabbed him in the neck. Thank you for your question.
Can I contradict you, however?
You can try.
I will. I'm a
then
teacher.
do it.
I'll do that. Okay, that was not the same episode. Just
Was it not?
Just
Oh,
saying.
good, it wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
All right. Well,
But thank you for the extra story.
I would say this then. If it had happened twice in a week, Mercury could have been in retrograde. But 2 different episodes, this boy's got a problem. He's got a stabbing people problem. What was the other episode called? How many did Tim do?
Jensen stabs people.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your
Ciao.
answers.
Jared, Jensen,
Yes, sir.
thank
Hi.
you so much for what you guys do and the whole Supernatural crew. I was just wondering if you
Thank
ever
you.
heard of the legend of the Winchester Mystery House here in San Jose.
I've been, I have heard of it, and I went a few years ago, and I was like, this is cheesy. I went probably
Usually it's
season...
I have heard of it, I've been. Not I've been, and I have heard of it. Kind of buried the lead there.
You're still mad about the Jensen stabs people thing, aren't
I
you?
didn't stab you!
Genevieve and I, when Tom was still, it would have been 4 years ago, because Tom was still in one of those baby holder things. And so we go, and I'm like,
It's the international sign for baby holder things.
and I'm all like, well, baby, this is gonna be strange, because I'm Sam Winchester. And she's like, it's gonna be fine. And so we go, it's like during a weekday, and it was crowded, but it wasn't like going on a weekend in summer or something.
Did you say to Jen, baby, this is gonna be strange, because I'm Sam Winchester. And is that the only time you've said that?
It is not the only time I've said that, and yes, I did say that. And so we go, and we're part of this, we take it, we take the tour, and there are probably, 7, 8, 9 other people with us on the tour, and no one says a thing. I'm like, oh, cool, like they just don't know. It felt so cool, as if we were just another couple of people. We didn't get pointed out, and then, the tour is an hour and a half long maybe, and you walk through here, and you go through there. At the very end of the tour guide's like, okay, does anybody else have any questions for me? And everybody's like, no, thank you so much. He goes, cool, well, then I have a question for you and Jen, Jared. Can I take a picture with you? Because I'm a big fan. At which point, everybody else was like, yeah, can we do it too? Like, this would be so cool. And I was like, of course. So somewhere there are pictures of us at the Winchester. But it was really neat, because they let us kind of B, just tourists before finally doing some pictures. But yeah, it's very neat. Have you
Yeah, I've been there.
heard of it?
I think it would be awesome if the brothers went and did a real
We should
haunting
do an
there.
episode. We should do an episode there.
I think it's in the works, right?
Yeah, I'll fight for that. That'd be amazing. That'd be very cool. Yeah, hey, that'd be amazing. Thanks, brother. Thanks a bunch. Cheers.
Hello.
Hi.
First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you guys. My best friend Brandon's in the crowd, and you guys have done a lot to help him, whether you know it or not. And I owe you guys a lot for that. So thank you. And my question for you is, have you ever heard of Virginia City, Nevada?
Apparently we're the only ones that haven't. Virginia City, Nevada?
It is one of the most haunted places on the West Coast, and yet you guys have never done an episode there.
Okay, to contradict you, Nevada is not on the coast. And Jensen stabs people.
True and not true.
I have not heard of it. Is that where the hotel is? The
Lost Balloon?
The Blood Bug Saloon. Blood Bucket Saloon.
Blood Bucket Saloon?
That's a terrible name for a saloon. Hey, sweetie, what should we call our bar? Blood Bucket Saloon. Works for me. Get her done. Yeah. It is better than Blood Bug Saloon, but Blood Bucket is strange. I have not heard of it, but where is it in relation to Las Vegas?
We don't consider Las Vegas a part of Nevada, first of all.
Las Vegas is East Coast.
Las Vegas is its own state.
Fair enough.
No, I'm from northern Nevada, Reno. Reno, Lake Tahoe,
Reno.
the capital, Carson City. People forget about Carson City.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't. Don't. I love Carson City.
Every now and again, we play the Capital game on set to pass the time. And Jared is so excited because he thinks he knows Nevada. And it's Nevada. Reno. Nope.
It's pronounced Nevada.
Not in Texas, it's not. I don't know how you West Coasters pronounce things, but down where the salt of the earth.
Nevada.
Nevada? It's pronounced Nevada.
It's Nevada.
Thanks, Diane.
Karen. Thanks, Karen. No, we'll go check it out. I do have a desire to go.
We're not gonna go check it out.
I'm going to, for sure.
When?
When the show's over.
Where is it?
Nevada. It's near Reno. Towards the Pacific Northwest coast of Nevada.
Well, now we're gonna have to look it up. Mission accomplished.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I love
There's a lot of sass coming from that side from the west coast of this room. It's like spit.
Hi, I love you guys both, and I was wondering if you have ever had a near-death experience, and if so, what was it?
When Jensen stabbed me in the leg. Almost bled out.
I mean, when you think about it, I was right
You
here.
need the knife.
When he jabbed the knife into me, had I bent down to tie my shoe instead, that was the nearest to death I've ever been. Still traumatized to this day.
All right.
You?
Hey, Jared. Did you see that water bottle hit my foot?
No, you kicked it.
Exactly.
My leg was stationary. It didn't move.
Yeah, once you stabbed yourself with the knife.
You cut the ligaments. I couldn't move it anymore. You severed it at the joint.
Oh.
I flipped my car in Africa. I thought I was dead.
Oh, that's not good.
What? Everybody's laughing. I flipped my car, I almost died. What?
I did. Some have heard this story, but when I shot Flight of the Phoenix in 2003, I was on the way to set, and we were filming in the sand dunes of Namibia, and I took a corner too fast and on the sand in this car that was probably built in the 80s. And anyways, I sort of let the, like it wasn't like a four-wheel drive, like, oh, here's a truck to drive through. It was like, here's a little African Ford Focus. Nothing wrong with Ford. If some of you are Ford people. Anyways, it turned and I rolled. And when I rolled, I had my flip-flops on, which is probably a mistake. And so you kind of brace, and the car did a loop-de-loop and hit soft sand, then hard sand, and a berm, and I did a complete roll. And I get there, and I'm like, and I'm fine. And I'm like, I've seen a lot of movies. I'm like, the car's gonna explode. I have to get out of here. And so, I did full on, like,
full slow-mo?
7 steps, dive, land in
and
the
then
sand.
nothing happens.
Yeah. Honestly, and nothing happened. And so I'm now, 60 feet away, hiding behind a tree, so the exploding.
Anytime now.
So the exploding shrapnel doesn't hit me. And we were filming. It was supposed to look like a plane crash in the middle of nowhere. So we were filming in the middle of nowhere in the dunes. We were not near anything. No city lights. No traffic. Like, there were no other cars traveling around this private property, I guess. And the car didn't explode. And I was like, okay, I should probably get my cell phone. And they had a production phone they give to all the actors. And I was like, I should let them know that I'm going to be late today. So I go back to the car. No, I go back to the car, and I'm looking. By the way, the only injury I could tell that I had was I had a cut on the top of my foot from where I had braced. It had hit the bottom of the accelerator pedal, and so my foot's bleeding a little bit. But I'm like, I just flipped a car, and I'm fine. So I go to the car, and I'm like, I'm going to let production know that I am going to be late because I rolled a car, and I can't find the phone. And I'm like, wait a second. And I kind of look around. I take a moment. I'm like, I can't hear. There are no sounds. There are no birds. I'm like, I can't find my phone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. I don't need a phone because I'm dead. So the planet took my phone away, my earthly phone, because I don't need it. Of course there are no birds. And so I'm like, that's why the car didn't explode. I'm already dead. And so I just sort of like, I sit on the sand next to the car, kind of bummed, right? And what was the book where the girl sees herself and she's dead and she's able to look? Yes, so that's me. I'm like, okay, maybe I got flung from the car. So I look around a little bit, looking for my earthly dead body. Because I'm now spirit Jared, I probably tried flying to see if I could do that yet. That happens longer after you die. You can't fly immediately. It takes a couple months, I think. And so, no flying, man. I guess in hindsight, I wasn't dead, so maybe you can fly immediately. Just saying. And so I'm walking around, like, I don't have a phone. I wonder, like, I'm looking to see where my body went. And then here comes this car, and I'm like, oh, must be nice to be a human alive driving a car. And it's my producer, Wick Godfrey's assistant. And he pulls over, I think his name is Eric. And he pulls over and he's like, hey man, you all right? You can see me? Yeah, you all right? Are you dead too? He wasn't dead either, as a matter of fact. Long story short, and then we flew away. Yeah, long story short, he was not dead, I was not dead. My car was a write-off, because my car was dead. It landed on a big rock. Because when I saw the car, I was like, that doesn't look too bad, this might not be too expensive.
Did you see the car flying away?
I did.
So there is a car heaven.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all cars go to heaven. Yeah, but I didn't die. So that's the moral of the story. I didn't die.
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard that story. Did I tell you about the one where
I stabbed a dude in the knee?
And he almost died? Where Nias and I climbed to the top of a construction crane. Kids, don't do this. Adults, don't do this. This was years ago, I think, I don't know. I was young, let's put it that way. And a friend of mine and I thought it would be entertaining to climb one of those construction cranes in the middle of the night. This one happened to be building a 48-story apartment building. So it was roughly 52 stories high. And we climbed over the construction fence, and this was so stupid. We climbed all the way in, like, because there's ladders inside the scaffolding. Climbed all the way up to where the base meets the arm. And there's like a hatch. Well, that hatch was locked. So instead of going, well, this was a bad idea, let's turn around, we decided to climb out of the scaffolding and up and around. Now we're 500 feet in the middle of the night. No one knows we're there. And so we do it, we climb over, and then we walk all the way out to the end of the arm there. We dangle our feet off the edge. Oh yeah, it's swaying. And we just sit there and just, have a conversation, just hang out for 15, 20 minutes, and then we're like, all right, let's go back. And in going back, it had started to rain a little bit. So the metal on the crane was now slick, and we had to climb outside of the scaffolding and back in. And I slipped. And luckily, my buddy Mike, who is actually no longer with us, not for that reason, had the very intelligent idea of, we found a little piece of rope up there, and he had tied it around my chest. He's like, I'm just gonna, because it's wet now, he's like, why don't you and I'll just belay you down. And I'm like, all right. So I slipped, and he literally caught me. And then I swung myself in, got in, and then he did the same. He tied it around his waist, and I held it. But that was pretty much as close to stupid death as I ever got in my life. It was after that where I was like, I don't need to do stuff like that anymore. Check that off the list. And Mom, if you're gonna see this, I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
I'm still here though.
Thank you for your question.
Hi guys, I'd like to continue my question on acting skills from this morning. Is there anything that you've been asked to learn that you haven't been able to do, or what is your favorite skill that you've been told to do?
Anything that I kind of refuse, and I don't know if it's just the competitive nature in me, I refuse to have them write something in the script that I can't do, or that I won't figure out how to do. I remember when they were like, oh, and then he has a reverse 180 in the Impala. I'm like, I've never done that. But I'm not gonna let my stunt double do it. So I spent the whole hour of lunch learning how to do a reverse 180 in the Impala, which is, in a modern car, easier. In a 1967 tank, it's very, very heavy in the front, and that front end goes whoosh. So anyway, it took me a couple tries. There was another one, cleaning all the weapons, breaking them all apart, and putting them all back together again without looking at them, was one that Phil wanted me to do. So I forget what season that was, but there's an episode where Dean has the like shotgun, pistol, 2 pistols, and a shotgun all laid out in front of him, and he's cleaning it. And I never looked down, but I put the whole thing back together again. Rack it, put it down, then start putting the other one back together again. And Phil was like, "You think you could do this and never look down?" And I was like, "Why would I do that?" Because it's cool. Then yes, I will.
Yeah, I've enjoyed finding out how much I enjoy the fight scenes, like the choreography of our sort of intensive fight scenes. I hate doing, and if y'all go back and watch, just know to yourself that Jared Padalecki hates painting sigils. Because there's not, at least Latin I have some knowledge of, they'll show you a template of a sigil you're supposed to paint on the wall, and then they'll be like, okay, so you're painting this one here, and you're like, it looks like a check and a backwards Z with a circle and a, okay, and like, okay, and then after that, Gadriel comes in, so you run over here and you do this one. I'm like, I can't remember what I was supposed to do in the first one. And so then they'll go like, okay, what we'll do is we'll have our professional on-set painter, Milan, start it, and you just remember a few of the things to finish it, but he gets there with his paintbrush, and he paints like a perfect circle. It's all the same width, and then I'm supposed to be painting with my finger. It looks nothing like it. And I'm like, this looks stupid. They're like, yeah, it looks stupid. I'm like, I know, that's what I said.
It's the difference between like a professional artist and if a 2-year-old came up.
Basically, a 2-year-old would do better. I've seen 2-year-olds do better. So I hate, and then they'll be like, well, it doesn't really match. And I'm like, guys, please don't make this scene about the sigil painting. They're all made up anyways. Like, I don't think, dear Supernatural, I love the show, but the sigil of sulfur was wrong in season 8. So I'm no longer gonna watch it. Like, I just think, you know, the idea is we're painting angel blasting sigils or something, like, let's move on.
There's a saying we have on set where, if there's some detail in the background or something like this, like a sigil is just maybe slightly different than what we used for the same.
Or if we're
purpose
reading a
before.
book and it's on a certain page for the wide, and then it's on a different page for the close-up.
Some very finite detail that you know. The saying on set that people say this, and on a lot of sets and movie sets and stuff, is if they're paying attention to that, we've lost them. And my response to the people that said on our set is, have you met our fans? Because we have. And they will know, and we haven't lost them. Thank you.
Thank you.
So John and Mary were married in Reno, Nevada, just to point it out there.
It's Reno, Nevada.
That's where I'm from.
Navada.
So now that we know much more about Mary's background, how do you think Dean and Sam's character development would have been different if she was the one who lived?
Now that we know she got married in Reno?
No. How would it be different for Sam and Dean if she was the one who lived and John was the one that died all those years ago?
Sam, mom's on a hunting trip and hasn't been home in a few days.
When I told Mom I was afraid of the dark, she put an Uzi under my pillow.
Mom's a little bit more robust than Dad.
I like Mom a lot more, huh? I think it probably would have been pretty same. I mean, she was the hunter, right? So
Yeah.
the Campbells.
So they would have just known from a younger age, even more so.
I don't know. Maybe. But
Maybe they
I think her
were
whole
born
idea was
with
trying to hide it.
Steak in their hand and some salt.
Steak and some
Or
salt? And a fork and knife to eat the steak with the salt. Some hollandaise or peppercorn sauce on the steak with the salt.
I mean, you guys are Hardy Boys.
Well,
Oh, I get it. The
Thanks,
Hardy
little lady.
Boys.
well, we're certainly not the Loose Chesters, so.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is for Jared.
Found him.
So, the last episode that I watched in season 13, you were actually driving Baby, or Sam was driving Baby around a lot. And it was kind of funny because at first you're like, oh, this looks really weird. And then it's like, oh, actually, Sam looks pretty good driving Baby. So.
You're damn right, girl. She speaks the truth. She speaks the truth.
He's pretty simple. He needs food, water, and compliments.
And candy.
So my
And an occasional bag of candy.
So my question is, do you feel that Sam would want like his own car or like I mean, is he okay? Because he's so great in the supportive role, but do you think that or as Jared, as Jared.
We both missed that. What?
Sam is very good in the
Yeah.
supportive role, in
Yeah.
supporting Dean.
Yeah.
So do you think?
As is Dean is good in a supportive role.
Yeah. I think the only time.
You're welcome.
I don't think. What's funny is that, like, I actually, like, Jared's first ever car that I still have today is a 1969 Camaro. I mean, I was changing spark plugs and like fixing the carburetor because I always went out changing the Canon air filter. I had like fan belts in the glove box because they'd pop every now and again because somebody would turn the AC on while I was driving. So this is when I was 17 years old. I owned a classic Chevy car. I've since had a 67 Mustang that I've bought and sold. My dream car is a Generation 2 Corvette. So I am a car guy. But I feel weird when they call action when Sam is driving, because I don't think Sam really is. He uses things as a tool. I said this earlier in my private meet and greet about like what's more difficult to do, the really dramatic scenes or the really humorous scenes. Jared would rather be goofy and silly and humorous than dramatic, but I feel like Sam he's not boring or without humor, but he's just not the funny guy, you know? He can do it. It's odd for me to try and stay true to who I know Sam to be, who I believe Sam to be, and be humorous or drive the car. Like, he'd rather be behind a book. He knows how to drive a car. If he needs to, he can do it. I'm sure he could figure out how to do a reverse 180, yada, yada. But he's just not, I mean, like, not that Dean couldn't also figure out how to do. Presumably, for years, Dean was reading books and doing the research to go hunting when Sam was in school. So I think it's not that they can't. I'm sure they can fill in the blanks when the other's gone. I mean, Sam had a car. Sam had a Charger, a modern-day Charger when Dean was, yeah. So clearly he knows how to drive, but I just don't think he's interested in it. He's like, Dean likes it, whatever. I can research while he's getting me to where I need to go. It's nice to have an unpaid chauffeur, you know? Thank you for your observation.
I'm not unpaid.
Thank you.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Hello, boys. Hello, boys. Obviously, Sam and Dean get injured a lot in the show.
Are you from Nevada?
It's pronounced Nevada. So yeah, Sam and Dean get hurt a lot in the show, and someone may or may not like stabbing other cast members. But I was wondering, what was the most embarrassing injury either of you guys have got on set?
I
ripped my pants on
I've had
camera.
many. That wasn't really an injury. It was a wardrobe malfunction.
Well, to some people, it might have been a wardrobe function.
Good luck with that. I was supposed to chamber around on my 1911 right as they yelled action. I went to do so, and I got the gun jammed. And so in an effort to unjam it, I slipped back in the receiver, and then it snapped forward and caught the meat of my finger. Slide bite. That's right. Slide bite. And it...
Bloody Bug Saloon?
That's it. And so I quickly, because we were rolling, and they literally go, and action. And I was like, oh, and I just ripped it out. And I quickly looked down, and there was just a flap of skin. And so I was like, well, we're rolling. We're now in the scene. So I just held my finger skin together with my thumb like that, and then did the whole scene. And then eventually looked down, and there was like blood all over my hand and stuff. So that was pretty stupid and embarrassing. But
I have a similar gun-related injury. Well, I have a similar embarrassing injury related to guns. There was an episode where Sam and Dean were Leviathan Sam and Dean, and they rob a bank. And we had a automatic weapon that we had never used because it was the Leviathan's version or whatever. Do you remember we come in and we spray some bullets and like everybody on the ground because they're trying to make the cops out for Sam and Dean. So we come in and we fire up into the air like that. But I'm so tall that they were like, hey, we're not seeing the gun in the frame. Not a word of a lie. So instead of spraying it like that, they wanted me to spray it like this, basically. Like basically drop my hands a foot. And it didn't occur to me at the time. It's like we're shooting, we have to make our day and this and that. And so I was like, yeah, sure. So back to ones, reloading the guns. And so we walk in, it's like, everybody get to... And I start doing this number, and the...
To be fair, it was a horribly designed gun.
Horribly designed gun where the casings
It had
come
a top
Eject,
top ejector.
Yeah.
So most guns they
That
eject
way.
out the side. This
So
one
usually-
literally went straight out the top.
Yeah.
So if
I've
you
never
were
shot a gun-
angling the top of the gun right in your face,
And so sure enough, I start blasting, and luckily I feel it, I guess just in time, because I'm basically going, and right as I get to I'm like, I stop, and I'm like, hey, am I bleeding?
and I'm not kidding, I look at him and he has like perfect arch, a mark here, 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 and here. As though the shells just went like,
Yeah. And I'm bleeding from a few of them because it came in, I'm like, my face is hot. And a few of them had hit.
Yeah, it is.
It is a little warm in here.
So a few of them were bleeding, like where whatever this protrusion is called, my 5 head, it just hit straight. So I had to go, okay, I guess call first aid because I'm bleeding from the face. And I have minor burns because when casings eject, they're pretty hot. And so that was, you might notice more makeup.
I just
on
love
me.
he comes up to me, he's like, hey, is there something on my face?
Not here or here so much, but right about here.
And my reaction was, no, you're good.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my
That was
embarrassing
embarrassing.
injury.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers, brother.
Thanks. Hi.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry if I say something wrong. It's just I'm from Brazil and I'm really nervous. So,
You speak better English than Jensen.
oh. I'm sorry if I misunderstand something. Just say hi to Brazil, please, because we love you guys so much.
Hola, Brasil.
Thank you. And
No, she said say hi to Brazil.
I messed it up.
love, always welcome. So, what's the dog secrets
Thanks.
in the 5 episode on the season 9?
What are the dark secrets?
Yes, they say in the end, like the dog.
The dog.
Yes. He was about to tell Dean, but then he stopped to listen.
Oh.
I'm
When
curious
when we do the
now.
spell and the dog is like, oh, here's the, what makes dogs, what makes,
We dogs is not here to...
yeah. The dog was you can finally talk to the dogs, and then he's like, oh, Well, you know.
Just pretend that you know if you don't.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's what we do for a living. Are you kidding?
Yeah, do what?
Try make a story. I don't know.
What the secrets to dogs are?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I like your energy.
Oh, thank you.
It is maravilloso.
Oh my God. It's the first thing, you are the first celebrity that I know in my whole life. And I am 27.
I am so sorry.
I live in Brazil.
I wish it could have been better than this.
It's okay.
The secrets to dogs. Yeah, you know, here's the problem. I forgot.
Oh my. He
Yeah.
didn't tell you. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh no.
I know.
No, no.
I didn't know either. I'll have to go back and read it and see what I can. Some
What?
kind of information I can garner from it.
Look, you stumped me, all right? You got me. You happy? I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for that. That's a great question.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.
Oh, no. You know what that means? That means Rob and Rich come out and run around the stage. Well, this is happening.
It's the last question. It's the last question. It's the very last question. It's the last question.
I'm gonna go help my friend Rob out there. It's the last question, isn't it?
It's the last question.
1, 2, 3. It's the last question.
It's the last question.
It's the last question. It's the last question. Read it in. It's the last question. And she's the one.
Ladies and gentlemen of the SPN family, as is our wont, we are do our last question, but this time it's our last question of 2017. So I'm sure it's going to be amazing. What's your name?
Amanda.
SPN family, meet Amanda. Amanda, meet SPN family.
Before we get into this, I think we should talk about the pressure she's under.
Tons.
Because usually it's the last one in the panel, and that's a tremendous amount of pressure.
And there'll be another panel in a week.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
two.
it's like
Yeah.
whatever, right? Any given town. And then, yes, it lives in perpetuity on the web, but blah, blah, blah. The point is, that's one moment.
Yeah.
It sums up the year.
You're speaking for an entire generation.
You really are. It's the 40 to 54s, but it's still, it's a generation nonetheless.
I'll take it.
I mean, to be fair, this is gonna get us through the holidays.
Or it's gonna wreck them for us.
That's true. No, it really will. I mean, this
all in your
really,
hands.
really is not only rounding out one year, it's really setting up the next year.
Yeah.
And all of our families.
This is the cliff-hanging question we'll all think about until the next time we have a last question.
A last question.
We have children whose happiness relies solely on this question.
That's right. And some of them are here. Yeah.
That's,
Calvin, Steve.
they're
Sorry,
They're backstage. They're backstage listening intently
Yes,
to
they are.
what this question is.
Oh, there they are.
All right, Amanda.
What is it?
All right. In the first seasons, especially the first few seasons, it seems like every time there is a monster that the brothers battle, they prefer to choke Sam and throw Dean into a wall. And I was just wondering if there was any particular reason for that, like either in the show or just because Sam...
That's a good question. That's a good question. So,
I think Sam prefers to be choked, and Dean prefers blunt force trauma.
in all fairness, Sam is what we call extra large. He's harder to throw. Dean is extra medium, small medium, so a lot lighter.
I mean, to be fair, if you throw Jared, you also have to throw his hair. It's a lot going on. That's so.
I think also, you know, Jensen has he has a reputation on set that he's usually the one to choke, so they wanted Sam to choke.
Wow. Wow.
And this is why they choke Sam. Thank you very much. That's the last question, everyone.
That's my favorite thing.
Was the last question.
I love it.
It was the very last question.
Funniest drummer in the business.
It was the last question.
That was the last question.
That was the last
question of 2017.
That was the last question.
Here we go.
It was the last question. That is it. We're out of time. That's the last one for the year. And you kind of nailed it. Ladies and gentlemen of 2017, of Burlingame, of Millbrae, and of San Francisco, thank you for being our rap party, Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki.
Here I go again on my own. Go down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. But I made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time.
Somebody rescue Bubba.
With no love, some charity.
And I'm gonna hold on the rest of my days.
And I know what it means. Walk along, lonely street of dreams. Here I go again on my own. Going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. But I made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time.
There they go. Off to get seaweed wraps. Full body massages.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Just so great.
So lovely.
So fantastic.
So attractive.
So, that was it.
That was it.
Last song of the year, Bobo.
Yeah, wow.
Last, and probably I'm going to guess Norton's last show.
Yeah, North's last show for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Sorry to see you go, buddy. It's been a great 7 years.
The fans are planning the steak that they're going to burn him on outside. Hey, Rich.
Yeah?
The day's not over.
No, the day's not over. You know what? I know for a fact that you and I are doing a panel later. For example.
That's true.
Robin Rich. Because people at Creation said, who haven't they seen? Oh, Robin Rich.
Right.
Let's get them
It'd
up
be
on
weird
stage.
to be out here on stage.
But together. I mean, when are we on stage together?
Together.
So,
with no one else.
No, I mean, fine. It's a band break.
Break,
That's
big
all it
band
is.
break.
No, we're coming on stage to do our thing. I happen to know that if you're headed outside to the merch room, that if you